You and I were talking yesterday, and we were in your office, and we were talking about whitetail hunters and elk hunters. And what are a couple things that you see whitetail hunters that they make that are mistakes when they elk hunt? And then what are a couple things that whitetail hunters do well as an elk hunter?
Yeah. And when we were talking about that, I was telling you how remarkably successful some whitetail hunters are when it comes to elk hunting, especially archery elk hunting. I carried more of my bad habits with me instead of good habits when I transitioned from whitetail to elk. But the thing that the whitetail hunters are very good at is managing the wind and paying attention. They never take the wind for granted. Elk hunters, as a general rule, have a tendency, myself included, we too often take the wind for granted of, it'll blow right over the top of them, or, they'll never smell me around the corner. Yeah, they will. There you get this Coriolis effect, right? There's all these things going on. And so whitetail hunters are meticulous about that. They just don't, they don't take anything for chance. Another thing whitetail hunters are very good at is they're very persistent and patient. Elk hunters a little bit have ants in their pants, right? They just got to be stomping around, tromping around. And the example I was telling you yesterday about how many whitetail hunters I know actually will bring a tree stand. And while the average dude goes back to camp at 10 in the morning because the elk quit bugling and he's taking a nap in the wall tent, these whitetail guys are sitting in their tree stands, and these bulls, especially mature herd bulls, will come in for a drink of water silently at 11, noon, 1, 2, 3 o'clock. Well, the guy back sleeping in his cot in the wall tent ain't getting a shot at that bull. But that whitetail hunter who knows it could be an all-day sit, he put an arrow in that bull. And so you get some of the locals that are like, I ran a blankety-blank guy from Ohio came out there and shot that big bull we were chasing. Well, hey, a lot of times there's a good chance that he shot it while you were in the wall tent taking your afternoon siesta. So those are the two things I think that translate really, really well. Probably the things that I struggled with is I always thought that elk were in this really quiet, almost vacuum type setting where if you cracked a limb, they're all going to run away. Elk are so noisy. When they're in the woods, they're calling to each other. And if you ever heard elk running through the woods, it sounds like a herd of bison.
Yeah.
So I was way too timid, wasted way too much time, and moved way too slow because I was accustomed to that buck bedded in a plum thicket who, if he heard a limb crack, boy, he's on high alert. And so there was that. The other thing that didn't translate well for me is deer have a home range of 40 acres. Might hold a couple bucks. Not out here. The terrain is just so big. You have to move. You have to be mobile. And if this spot doesn't hold them, you better get to the next spot. And you get to the next spot and the next spot. And the animal densities in elk country are way lower than they are in whitetail country. So mobility is huge. And I didn't have that taught to me or built into me as I formed as a hunter. So that was a big mistake I made my first however many years of elk hunting.
I can relate to both of those failures. And the thing is, I had the resources, as far as I've been able to listen to people like you and Corey and all these successful elk hunters say these things. And I still, when I'd get out there, it was so hard to change your mind when you have it set that you got to be super quiet and I'm like, I got to pick apart this entire area, and spend time in here. There was some sign here, but it's like, okay, they're not here right now. I got to move. And that was so hard for me to understand. And I still struggle with it at times, to understand that, but it's funny hearing that, and from someone like you that has a background in both, and John Barklow has also said similar things. He's from Ohio, so right. He's he grew up whitetail hunting and understood that. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I do think though a lot of whitetail hunters make really good elk hunters once they change just a few of their habits. Whitetail hunters are really good at reading sign, really good at understanding that. And this is a little pitch for my trapping friends is trapping probably taught me more about animal behavior than any hunting. And so a lot of you guys back in Pennsylvania trap and do stuff like that. You're all whitetail hunters. You're all really good at reading sign. And when you're out in these big hills, you want to be able to know what's good sign and what's just old dead, ignore it, keep moving kind of stuff. And whitetail guys are usually really good at that.